to actually start communicating.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to break away from network coverage of those astronauts' return and get you caught up on what's happening here tonight. A 28-year-old suspect is in custody after a fatal stabbing inside a Mankato Quick Trip.
Yeah, it happened this morning around 3 a.m. at the Quick Trip at 1549 Madison Avenue. Police found an unresponsive employee lying on the floor with a knife wound. He was later pronounced dead at a hospital. Police used security video to identify and arrest the suspect. Right now, his name, the victim's name, and a motive remain unknown. In a statement, Quick Trip CEO and President Scott Zitlow said, "We are fully committed to supporting our coworkers through this painful ordeal, and we are working closely with law enforcement authorities to understand what happened."
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is in Eau Claire right now, part of his town hall style tour of Republican districts.
And this one is in Congressman Derek Van Orden's backyard. News 8 Now's Allison Ferget is live at the Pablo Center. Allison.
An official here expects 1,000 people to attend this town hall. Now, the town hall is billed as the People versus Musk, taking aim at the Elon Musk-backed groups that have spent $10 million against state Supreme Court candidate Susan Crawford. But don't be surprised if Walz criticizes Representative Derek Van Orden. Democrats have accused Van Orden of hiding from constituents following backlash to federal cuts. Tonight at 10, I'll have full coverage on this town hall. Reporting in Eau Claire, Allison Ferget, News 8 Now.
All right, thank you, Allison. And happening today and shortly in Viroqua, your chance to speak out on local issues. The historic Temple Theater is holding a congressional town hall at 6 p.m. Medicaid, Social Security, and farm funding will be discussed. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. Congressman Derek Van Orden has been invited. No word if he'll attend.
Well, today Van Orden presented a military service award.
U.S. Army Flight Officer Joseph Schuster was killed during World War II in the Battle of the Bulge. Today, his family received the Gold Star awarded to him for his sacrifice. Van Orden says all those who serve and their families need to be recognized.
The responsibility of the United States government and your fellow citizens doesn't end after 15 years or 10 years or 30 years. It goes on in perpetuity. So she gave her dad, when she was just a baby, to our country at the altar of democracy, and that needs to be respected throughout all time.
Van Orden says this is the first time he's presented a Gold Star and that it's one of the most emotional experiences he's had.
In La Crosse, absentee voting now underway. In La Crosse and Eau Claire, you can vote at city halls there daily until 4 p.m. Voting is open until March 28th. The deadline to request a ballot by mail is the 27th. A programming note, News 8 is hosting a La Crosse mayoral debate. It's a chance to hear from both candidates, Chris Kalo and Shondell Washington Spivey. That debate 7 p.m. Friday, live in our studio. You can watch it on 8.2 and our digital platforms.
Well, a fairly nice Tuesday across a lot of the area. It was in the 60s, but some areas were still stuck up to the north in the upper 30s to low 40s. So depending on location, it was quite nice or a little bit kind of chilly for some areas. But we still have snow. That's the big story going into tomorrow. Rain to snow, the alert day conditions for hazardous travel. Looking like the highest amount, 6 to 10 plus, is between about I-90 and I-94. This is probably start off as rain, then gradually transition to snow further south you go. There's the swap, and this is going to be like a 25-mile or even 50-mile range of where you're going to have a lot, and then it's going to drop off to nothing. Very typical of March systems to see this, but once again, that's kind of could shift further back and forth. But right now we're thinking that just lies Winona up to about maybe Rhinelander area to Rochester is where the greatest amount is. Really for the commute, the morning overall looks good for most areas. Good visibility. Well, excuse me. We'll see slushy to wet conditions for the noon one with windy conditions. And then afternoon time frame for the PM, that's when it's really going to be probably the worst for most areas with windy conditions, snow-covered roads, heavy wet snow, quite a bit of mess. But as I said, overall tonight, temperatures will actually stay fairly mild. We're not going to see them drop off. Cloud cover will increase. By 5 a.m., 6 a.m., we're going to start seeing some showers or even a thunderstorm approach areas south of I-90. But for the most part, most areas will stay pretty good all the way to about 7 or 8, and then things will start deteriorating depending on conditions. So later on, we'll break down all the timing of the rest of the day, how much snow we get per period, and what it looks like going into Thursday and Friday a bit later.
All right. Thanks, Greg. Well, a new program is helping La Crosse homeowners lower their energy bills. The city has launched a program to help low-income homeowners unlock federal grants for energy-saving upgrades. It'll use funds from the Inflation Reduction Act to help pay for home energy assessments. Those assessments will then determine what federal grants homeowners can be eligible for to cover those upgrades.
But La Crosse is quite interested in figuring out how do we help as many residents here in La Crosse as possible. Low-income residents are able to qualify for more funds from this new law, and so this new program that La Crosse is launching is going to help over 300 local residents get almost first in line.
Those grant funds will also be used to create new local union jobs in the community.
Minnesota is going after Medicaid fraud, and they're using a bill to do it.
So what does this mean for people on Medicaid? News 8 Now's Grace Monk is in the newsroom tonight with some answers. Grace.
That bill would expand the Attorney General's ability to investigate Medicaid fraud. So here's a closer look at it. New staff members would be added to the Attorney General's Medicaid Fraud Control Unit. It would also increase criminal penalties and allow the unit to access financial records during investigations. Current legislation defines Medicaid fraud as an attempted theft of public funds with a maximum sentence of 2.5 years. The new legislation would increase the maximum to 20 years and include a fine of up to $100,000 for theft over $35,000.
It not only takes money out of the system, which is very bad, it not only takes money away from its intended beneficiary, which is very bad, but it also erodes the public confidence in programs like Medicaid.
Ellison says the biggest way providers commit fraud is falsely reporting hours and services. And of course, the bill will need approval from the Minnesota House of Representatives and Senate. Reporting from the newsroom, Grace Monk, News 8 Now.
Thank you, Grace. Well, it was Donate a Pint, Get a Pint at the Shamrock Club's Blood Drive in Onalaska today. The St. Patrick's Day themed Pint for a Pint event just wrapped up at the Onalaska Library. The Blood Center of Wisconsin has partnered with the Shamrock Club of Western Wisconsin for this. Shamrock Club officials say it's one of a few ways they try to advance their mission.
We also try to do more for the community. We do food drives for Wayfarer, and we also do this blood drive twice a year to support the community, I guess is the best way to say it.
And of course, it was donors of legal age who got a pint in exchange for giving blood.
600 young musicians will fill the La Crosse Center tonight for the district's annual string showcase. Students from grades 5 through 12 unite for the All-City String Festival starting at 7 p.m. Logan High and Emerson Elementary orchestra teacher explains his vision for the concert and what he hopes his youngest performers will gain from the experience.
The younger students, the 5th graders and the 6th graders, they get to not only play, but they get to hear, here's what I'll sound like when I'm in 7th and 8th grade. Here's what I'll sound like when I'm in high school. So it's kind of a motivational thing.
Sounds good. The night caps off with all 600 students on stage together for a finale.
The ceasefire collapses as Israel launches new missile attacks in Gaza.
Plus, why one French lawmaker wants the Statue of Liberty back.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Love it.
Go from dreaming it to driving it today.
Right now, lease a new 2024 Tacoma TRD Sport for $359 a month. Toyota, let's go places.
Growing up in Chippewa Falls, we had some tough times. My little sister was born with special needs, so I became her protector. And when my dad was laid off, we all had to step up. Along the way, I learned a lot about hard work, common sense, and most of all, what it means to look out for people. I'm Susan Crawford, and looking out for people is why I became a prosecutor and a judge. And it's what I'll do every day on the Supreme Court.
To everyone who believes in tradition, come enjoy a few of ours from Wisconsin.
People in Wisconsin love a good fish fry.
Really love. And we love sharing it with guests everywhere.
At Culver's, we still batter our North Atlantic cod by hand to order.
And we cook it to a crispy, golden perfection just for you.
For you.
For you. So it's crispy outside, flaky inside. Let us take care of you.
With some homegrown traditions we were raised on.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Shop Wisconsin's best deals at Black River Furniture Outlet. Find unbeatable prices on sectionals, big or small, to fit every home. Great savings on Ashley sofas and love seats. Style and comfort at a price you'll love. Check out our wide selection of reclining and power furniture, plus custom options from Best Home Furnishings. Experience top-tier comfort with Catnapper Furniture, where relaxation is key. Black River Furniture Outlet, your upholstery headquarters. Family values, veteran-owned, and no corporate hassle. Open 7 days a week in Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Hey, there he is. Let's do this. Right now, you can get 1.99% APR for 72 months on a tough new Tundra. Toyota, let's go places.
We've got live pictures out of the Gulf. Stranded astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams safely splashed down in a SpaceX capsule at 4:57. The capsule will be put on a ship. The astronauts will then be brought out.
In the Middle East, the ceasefire collapsing in the Israeli-Hamas war. Israel carrying out new extensive strikes on Hamas targets in Gaza. Israel accusing Hamas of refusing to release hostages and rejecting mediation offers. Now, according to Gaza's health ministry, over 400 are dead and almost 600 injured.
To be very clear, Israel will not stop until all of our hostages are back home.
And the White House says Israel notified U.S. officials about the strikes ahead of time.
Well, a French lawmaker thinks the U.S. should give the Statue of Liberty back to France.
Now, the statue is a symbol of freedom, but the lawmaker says, quote, Americans have chosen to side with the tyrants. He also pointed out the federal firings and tariff chaos.
The Statue of Liberty is just an icon. It's just a statue. That's all it is. Our perception of liberty is different than a lot of other places in the world.
And the White House says it has no plans of returning the statue. Still to come, snowstorms running through Northern California.
How the state is handling the weather coming up.
We got snow for our own forecast too. Snow's coming back in for Wednesday. We're going to time out. We have snow, rain, even thunderstorm and thundersnow possibilities too with all that. We'll break all it down coming up on your First Warn Weather Update after the break.
Are you in need of a new driveway or parking lot? Call North Central Paving for all your asphalt needs. We specialize in paving, seal coating, repairs, crack filling, and new installation. Call North Central Paving today.
Wisconsin, one of those places where families spend their winters among frozen lakes and snow-covered hills. With all the fun they're having, it's easy to take for granted how they warm up by the fire or simply adjusting their thermostat. But for some of us, it's not that easy. Some of us need to decide whether to heat or to eat, or to further neglect our basic survival needs. We are working families, elderly, disabled, and veterans, all struggling to pay record heating bills. These dangerous temperatures aren't just uncomfortable for us, they can be deadly. If you are struggling to decide if you can put food on the table or heat your home, please reach out for a hand up. No one deserves to suffer when we can help each other.
Style or substance. Somehow, it became one or the other. But there is another choice. Not stopping until you have everything in the GMC Sierra. Or get 0% APR on select Sierra 1500 models. That's over $5,600 in average finance savings. We are professional grade.
Every kid deserves a great education. As state superintendent, I helped pass a new literacy law, raised math and science standards, and expanded technical education. My opponent is a lobbyist who's never held a Wisconsin teaching license. She's worked to drain money from public schools to pay for private schools, raise property taxes, and eliminate teacher license requirements. I'm Jill Underly. I'll protect our public schools and never stop working to improve them.
Are you in need of a new driveway or parking lot? Call North Central Paving for all your asphalt needs. We specialize in paving, seal coating, repairs, crack filling, and new installation. Call North Central Paving today.
Meeting you locally where you are online. Miss a story? See it again or watch us live on YouTube at WKBT News 8 Now. The news continues on News 8 Now. Expect more.
A heavy snowstorm hit Northern California on St. Patrick's Day yesterday.
This was the scene on Interstate 80 where travel was reduced to 30 miles per hour. Some areas of the state have seen upwards of 2 feet of snowfall within the last 24 hours.
And it just might be so that some of that system could make
our way.
I don't know about
Not
the same
that much.
degree of snowfall, but that's for Greg to tell us about. Greg.
Yeah, I've been on that road. That's near Donner Summit, I-80 there too. So yeah, March is very active out west, and it can be active for us. A lot of the snowpack out west really accumulates during March and then peaks in April. So they typically can get some good amounts of snow, and it's usually wet. Good amount of moisture too that out west they need before it starts melting off. We need the moisture. We're going to have more of it coming here. Unfortunately, it's going to be in the form of rain and then snow. Wet, heavy snow too. Right now, if you look at the winter weather advisories out right now, we still have the warning right through there, but you notice it's a very narrow area because the snow amounts drop off quickly because the rain doesn't change to snow late, which we see in a lot of March systems too. More blizzard type conditions, and that's probably for more of the visibility reduction, more blowing and drifting. It is going to be heavy amounts of snow, but in this corridor where you see that pink, that's typically where we're going to see the highest amounts, although we're going to see impacts throughout all the area with this system. Amounts right now, there could be an area that's even 12 plus somewhere in here, but it's a very narrow area, maybe about 10 to 15 mile range. You'll see that amount, and then it's going to drop off quickly to nothing. So that area seems to be still looking pretty good from Winona, maybe just on the other side of the river. There could be another area further northeast towards Rhinelander, up in northeast Wisconsin, another area, but Eau Claire, you're right on the edge. Black River Falls is right on the edge of the heavy amounts. And as you go further towards southwest Wisconsin, Prairie du Chien, Richland County, it drops off quickly just because the changeover doesn't happen until later in the day. All heavy, wet snow for the most part. So really starting off tomorrow morning, we're not going to see much going on probably until we get to more about 7 and 8. Temperatures all above freezing too at this point. Notice the thunderstorm probability too. We're going to have some lines of thunderstorms come up to southwest Wisconsin. They could contain a little bit of small hail with them too. So excuse me, that's one thing to keep an eye on. Otherwise, the snow rain line kind of sets up really from Winona up to Black River Falls, and that's looking at about a 10 to maybe 11 a.m. time frame. Light snow up here, not really that accumulating too much unless you're in I-90 going to Rochester. That's probably where heaviest amounts of snow. Thunderstorms continue, but you see how narrow that transition line is. By the time we get to about noon, it's now kind of sinking closer to La Crosse, maybe to Decorah, that area, but you still see ahead of it showers and thunderstorms continuing. Some of these, once again, could contain some small hail with them. The snow rate starts picking up probably afternoon hour, especially further north you go. And this is when probably the worst conditions are going to be as we go into the afternoon. Time you get to about 2 or 3, we're now getting kind of towards Viroqua, maybe up towards Sparta. That's where the transition starts happening. But notice it go further west towards Rochester. It is really snowing quite heavily, and wind too. And then finally, when we get to 4 to 5, it's all the way down close to Prairie du Chien. Pretty much all the areas now is seeing good amount of snow. The snow actually starts to get a little bit less wet at this point. You see the temperature still about freezing, 31, 32, but they are starting to lowering, so that'll help the road conditions actually get more snow covered. And then throughout the evening hour, it won't wrap up until we get to about 8 to 9 p.m. So really most of the snow accumulation will be done by 6, but you'll still see some snow going on. Snow amounts till about noon, not a lot right now. You can start seeing a little bit. Winona probably 1 to 2. Some of these areas stretching further east a little bit, but overall road conditions probably more slushy to about wet. Then in the afternoon, this is really when you're going to pick up the bulk of the snowfall for most of the areas. A good swath of an area throughout 4 to 6, less as you go further south. Elevation difference will play a part too. Ridge lines probably will see the changeover first before the lower valleys do also. So if you look at really what the possibility transition line, kind of to break that down, early morning north of Winona, Black River Falls. By noon, it's going to be closer to La Crosse. 2 to 4, it'll start going from Viroqua to Prairie du Chien time frame, and that's the kind of the transition we're looking at right now. And roads, as I mentioned, really it's the afternoon, evening when the heaviest amounts of snow could be accumulating. And don't forget Thursday morning too, with the road conditions could be icy, given that we'll probably go below freeze and any moisture will refreeze. Unfortunately, we have another system after a dry kind of Friday, some showers Saturday, cooler. More accumulating snow is a possibility going Sunday night into Monday once again as our active pattern continues. And unfortunately, we're going to stay kind of on the cool and wet side really beyond this forecast period too. So
March in Wisconsin.
Yeah, no more 70s for a while. Unfortunately, that was be a while till we see that.
Oh boy.
That's music to your ears, Greg.
I
love that.
Music, it is beautiful music.
Beautiful music.
Still to come, from the world's ugliest animal to fish of the year.
See how this very adorable creature won the award after the break.
Is it time for new windows or doors? Contact the company who has done the research for you. The best windows and doors installed by the best people. Clear Choice Window and Home Solutions.
Knutson Roofing, locally owned with 20 years of experience to get your project done right the first time. Whether it's roofing, window, or siding installation, we offer reliable, dependable, and quality work we stand behind. Knutson Roofing. Call or visit us online today.
I was in a very bad relationship. After that, I made it my mission to help people. Brad Schimmel really wanted to know, how can we help survivors? He got right in there with me and did the work that needed to be done. I know Brad, the person, and I know how passionate he is about helping people, women, sexual assault victims, children. He has made it his life's mission to help families. I know that about him.
Wherever you are in Wisconsin, there's a free and confidential Aging and Disability Resource Center, ADRC, or Tribal Partner Agency. We're here for older adults, adults with disabilities, and your families. ADRCs are a bridge to support for benefits and financial assistance, transportation, in-home care, and more. Get to know your local ADRC and connect with resources now. Call toll-free 1-844-WIS-ADRC or go to findmyadrc.org.
How corrupt is Brad Schimmel? Let's count the ways. 1. Schimmel gave a plea deal to a man caught with child porn after the man's lawyer gave his campaign thousands of dollars. 2. Schimmel let 6,000 rape kits sit untested for years, then lied about it. 3. Now Elon Musk is trying to buy Schimmel a seat on the Supreme Court because he knows Schimmel always helps his big campaign donors. That's Brad Schimmel, and he's way too corrupt for the Supreme Court.
Knutson Roofing, locally owned with 20 years of experience to get your project done right the first time. Whether it's roofing, window, or siding installation, we offer reliable, dependable, and quality work we stand behind. Knutson Roofing. Call or visit us online today.
Meeting you locally where you are online. Stay updated while you scroll. Follow us on Instagram at WKBT News 8. You're watching News 8 now. Expect more.
The blobfish has made a major comeback. The gelatinous sea creature, considered 2013's ugliest animal in the world, was just named Fish of the Year out in New Zealand.
More than 5,500 votes were cast in a survey. The blobfish came out on top with about 300 more tallies than the second place orange roughy. The annual contest raises awareness about the various fish that live in New Zealand's waters.
Yeah, the mouth looks like a upside down Joker smile.
Yeah, that's actually a great comparison.
Thank you.
I didn't even know the blobfish went away. They're like, it made a comeback. And
yeah.
I love that they're entered into contests and they have no idea.
Right, and just goes to show in 2013 you could be at your lowest and then you come up.
Come right back out on top.
Glow up in 2025.
Exactly. All right, Greg has a final look at your forecast right after this.
Working with Maxwell White was amazing. They were professional, answered all of my questions.
I give Maxwell White my highest possible recommendation.
Maxwell White did a fabulous job on our shower. 5-star plumbing service done right.
This is Curtis O'Brien, a convicted felon. He sexually assaulted a 5-year-old Wisconsin girl multiple times. Judge Susan Crawford could have given him 60 years in prison, but she let him walk. 2 years in prison. That's it. While his victim lives with the scars forever. She even let the predator live across the street from an elementary school. That was Crawford's choice. Another dangerous decision from Susan Crawford, putting all our kids at risk. She's just wrong for Wisconsin.
After the accident, my dad and my wife got together and hired Schwebel, Getz & Sieben.
I think we made absolutely the right choice. They had the communication, they had the wisdom, they had all the knowledge that the company could bring to the table. I was really impressed with how they treated us, and we understood that they were backing us up 100%.
Schwebel, Getz & Sieben will fight to get you a fair settlement. Call or visit Schwebel.com today for a free consultation.
The Silverado Trail Boss. And a little work. And a little play. And a truck that says no to nothing. And Chevrolet.
It's Chevy Truck Month. Well-qualified buyers can get 2.9% financing for 72 months on this Silverado. Or get $4,350 total value. Plus, current Chevy owners can get $4,000 total cash allowance when you trade in an eligible vehicle.
Have you checked your sump pump lately? After a big rain, basement flooding can significantly damage your home. Stay ahead and dry with a call to Maxwell White. We have standard pumps along with battery backup systems in case you lose power. Prevent future damage. Contact Maxwell White today.
All right, just remember, wet, pretty good for the AM commute. Otherwise, noon and afternoon is going to be snow-covered, slushy roads. It's going to be a mess out there. Travel plans definitely try to avoid, but something to stay tuned to.
We're sending off winter in style tomorrow. Last day tomorrow.
Well,
right?
never quite know.
See them at 6.